All right. Hey, everyone. Let's talk about how to take your speaking to the next level with an online presence. Now, I have a very special guest today, and you will all love her. Ina Coveney is the founder of The Global Phenomenon, a podcast and community where new entrepreneurs gain the confidence and strategy to create global businesses from the start. Ina is the creator of the Be Found system, which outlines the exact steps for a new entrepreneur to step into the global stage with a world-class online presence that speaks directly to their desired audience. Ina has been featured on NBC News Maine, USA Today, Business.com, Change Creator Magazine, and podcasts. She's making an impact. She breaks through and PodQueens Latinas. She is also a feature speaker and innovative woman in General Assembly Tech and Business panel nationwide. Of course, you can learn more about Ina at theglobalphenomenon.com. But I'm super excited to bring Ina on today. You all will love her. Let's put on your speaking hats today. Ina, welcome.
I am so happy to be here, Kit. And the fact that we're both in Boston just makes this so sweet. Thank you for having me.
Now, when it comes to, okay, since we're both in Boston, do you want to tell people where you are in Boston or no? I'm in Jamaica Plain.
Yeah, I'm up in Wakefield. So a lot of people don't know where that is. I'm like, oh, if you know like the Saugus, Melrose, Reading area up in 95, that's where I am.
Yeah, that's great. So, of course, we're not outside a lot now, but I hope some of you, if you don't go to Wakefield a lot, take a cruise by there sometimes. Get out of your own neighborhood if you're in Boston.
Now, we have a very nice lake. A lot of people like walking around, so wear a mask, be safe.
My wife and I, we have to look for more places to walk. So we might go to Wakefield. But okay, let's jump back into how do you speak to, how do you get your speaking to the next level with an online presence? And before I start asking questions to Ina, I want to let you all know, whenever I see Ina do her videos or live interviews, she has such a great personality, and that just stands out. For those who are wanting to become better speakers right now, even though I'm not watching all the time Ina's video, when I'm flipping through LinkedIn, I see her presence, right? I see her presence, and that alone, I'm like, oh, Ina's crushing it again. Even though I don't tune in all the time, I'm like, oh, there's the great smile that she has. There's the great personality that she has. So even though I might not be clicking on every single time, I still get hit with, oh, there's Ina again. When I do have time, I'll go and hear her speak. But I just wanted to point that out. I'm not sure if anyone told you, but that personality, right? It's that presence that you have.
I really appreciate you saying that, Kit. And what comes to mind when I hear this is a great compliment, a great intro that you're giving me. My biggest message out there is that anybody can make that happen. So I think it's maybe the 20 years that I have been in tech, right? The 20 years that I have been focused on making websites and really learning about where things go on a page that will make them create the most impact. Maybe it's just that 20 years of experience, but I know what looks good on a page. And I can tell you right now that there is no mystery to it, that you don't need to be making $1 million in order to look like $1 million. And I'll just tell you a really, really quick story like that hammers this point home. I was interviewing someone for my podcast, and I asked her what she thought was the biggest misconception that people had of her. And she said this like she was almost ashamed of it. She said like, well, when I walk around in conferences, people come up to me and they say, oh my God, it's you. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm meeting you. And she says, I feel like people might think that I'm more successful than I actually am because I just have a good online presence. And I'm like, why are you ashamed of saying that? That's exactly what a great online presence does. It elevates your authority. It's if you already have that expertise and you already have all of that knowledge that you want to impart, and if you're going out there and speaking about it, it doesn't take that much to make your online presence look the way that you feel, look the way that you already have those thoughts in your mind. So I would just encourage everybody, if you haven't seen my videos, you can just see them. I can tell you exactly which technical tools I use, and it's stuff that I did not have to pay for. I'm not paying for anything to create those videos. Anybody can do it. So I'm really happy to be here to share this with everyone, that if you want to level up in your speaking game, people will want to find you, people want to look you up, and they want to see something that looks professional, and it doesn't break the bank to do that.
Yeah, especially when it comes to COVID, we all have to step up our online presence and the way where we speak, because everyone is at home now. So the title of today's talk, right? How to take your speaking to the next level with an online presence. Well, I'm going to turn that question back to you, Ina. How do you take your speaking to the next level with an online presence?
Okay, so you start out by realizing who are you speaking to, because I'm thinking you're a speaker, right? So you're going out there, going on virtual stages, going on physical stages, and you got to realize that to them, doesn't matter how you feel on the inside, to them you're an expert, to them you're an authority, and if your speaking is any good, which I'm sure it is, otherwise you wouldn't be up there, they're going to want to know more about you. The first thing that I do when I see someone who's like catching my eye on stage or virtually is look them up. Okay, what have they done? What are they known for? How do they present themselves? Because we've all been trained on understanding the online presence of somebody else, right? There is nobody out there that is doing something so unique that we would see it and not understand what they're about unless their messaging is really, really off. But we know, we've been trained by people who do spend the hundreds of thousands of dollars on publicists and on stylists and all this stuff. We've been trained to see, okay, what are they going for, right? So when you have that kind of online presence that, like I said, doesn't break the bank to really have, people get you a lot faster and they want to follow you and they want you to be there. So if you're a corporate professional, if you're in leadership and you're going out there and speaking, I want you to know, regardless of what you think, people who are listening to you want more. So that's where you feel like you're leaving a lot of opportunities on the table if you don't have a way for people to go and find out more about you. What is your story? How did you get there? How did you become the expert at this? You got to give that to everyone. So the first thing that you want is to be able to be searchable, to be able to be Googleable. So whatever that means to you, there's kind of like different stages of it, like depending on how deep you want to go into it. So if I were to take that first step, suppose that all you have is your LinkedIn profile, then great, you're better than anybody else who doesn't have anything. Start with your LinkedIn profile. Spruce it up. Really talk about the things that you love to talk about. Explain what your expertise is. Make people understand you better just by looking at your profile, and have a link in there to guide people someplace else. Don't ever let them just stop at the first thing, right? So if you have a LinkedIn profile, that's a great start. What's the next thing you should have? My first thought, and like I said, maybe this is 20 years of website work talking, is getting a website up. Right? So you got to think of who your audience is going to be that is going to go visit that website. Is it people that you want to turn into customers? Because there's a reason why you're up there giving that message and becoming a great speaker. What is that message and who are you giving it to? And can you help that person even more? So when they visit your website, what is it that they want to know? And what can you give them that they could take home? Maybe it's recordings of your previous talks, right? Like, hey, you like that talk? Maybe you're going to like this one too. So here's my YouTube channel. So there's another avenue you can go. You can just post your speaking engagements into a YouTube channel and go guide them there. So my point is, I'm hitting several things at once to just kind of speak generally. But my point is, when you're up there speaking, people will want more. So be intentional about where you want people to go and what you want to give them next. Does that help kind of paint a picture, Kit?
Oh, that's amazing. And I want to say, if you're watching live right now, let Ina or I know if you have any questions at all. If you're watching a replay of this, you can also still post in the comments. So Ina, actually, as you're talking, and that was great. I wanted to ask you, some people might, even when they want to create an online presence, some of them might not be comfortable going on camera. What was your journey? Were you always comfortable on camera? Like, how did you actually improve, like step by step by step? Like, what did you work on? What got better? What tech got better? What speaking things got better?
Yeah.
What was your journey like?
So when I went back actually to look at my very first Facebook Live video, and something that I would encourage everybody to adopt is to not put so much pressure on yourself when you go on video, especially if you're starting out, because you're watching me after many years of being on video. So what you're seeing of me out there is stuff that I have already thought through. I've perfected. I know which filter to use, and I know how to edit my video. But when I started, my very first video, I wish I could share it, was me holding my baby. He was probably like 5 months old, 6 months old. I'm carrying him. I'm in Barnes and Noble, and I had just started a Facebook group, and I'm in Barnes and Noble, and he's doing some cute stuff. So I'm recording him with my camera, and I'm like, I just started this Facebook group. Let me say hi and tell people, like, look how cute he is. So on my phone, I went live on Facebook, and not on my personal profile, but in my group, right? We'll talk about the personal profile in a second. So in my group, and just showed, I gave a message. I knew what I wanted to say, right? I just said, hey, welcome to the group A, B, and C. What are the things that I really wanted to say? I don't just ever turn on the camera just to turn it on, right? Turn it on, give you my message, give you the things that I want you to take away. And I'm here with my cute baby at Barnes & Noble. I hope you're all having a great day. That was my very first ever Facebook Live. So I would say, like, step one, relieve the pressure a little bit. If being on video, it makes you nervous, it's just not your thing, it's just like, why would I ever do that to myself? Start with a really low pressure environment. So this is a tip that I've given my clients in the past, is start a Facebook group. Starting one takes literally 3 minutes. Don't even worry about there being a profile picture or a cover page or like anything. Just create a Facebook group. Give it a name that you want to give it, right? Doesn't matter right now. You can change the name later. And just go live there, just for you to get a feel for it. You don't have anybody watching. It's a private group and you're the only member, right? Private, just go live and see what it's like. For me, my journey was, after that, I'm like, oh, okay, I just tried Facebook Live. Let's just do it again, a little bit more intentionally, right? Like in my office or at my desk or in my house. Like, okay, this is what I want to tell you. So I actually started to get very used to not having anybody watch as I was going live, right? It's not like when I started, I had 10 people watching and it's like, why is everybody here? I started out with 0 people watching me, and I got really comfortable with that. So much so that if I ever got one person viewing live, I'd get nervous. I'd be like, oh, but now you're here, right? But by then, I had already recorded so many lives that I got used to seeing myself talking. So it became one of those things that now whenever I go live, it feels like I'm just having coffee with an old friend. I have some notes, right? Like I write down 3 things that I want to say, what my call to action is going to be, literally just minutes before I hit live. And then I turn it on and I feel like I just got together with a friend to have some coffee, right? And I don't drink coffee. I got together to have a donut. Okay. And I just give my message. I got used to seeing myself live. I started to see what I see. And I started to take pointers from what everybody else was doing. What are they doing with their background? I have changed my background so many times. I'm finally feeling good about this little living room feel, right? But I got myself a backdrop at one point. I was just doing it downstairs in my first floor where I just have a big blank wall. So I've changed the format many, many times. So it's just a matter of testing, just continuing to tweak until you feel really good about what you're seeing, and people will start responding to it. So I would say at first, don't worry about anybody else. Start to focus on your comfort first.
I have to say, I really like your background. I think it's really. I'm going to bring your background back up again. So speaking about no, I'm going to go back. When we talk about online presence, okay, what's your definition of what's good online presence versus what's poor online presence?
Yeah, the first word that came to mind was message. So a great online presence gives people calm and ease, and maybe, if you're lucky, excitement. A bad online presence makes people anxious and makes people confused. I tell people often, because I talk about websites all the time, I tell people that if you're using your website as a business card, you're using it wrong. Your website should have a very specific purpose of providing some kind of value and attracting people, retaining that traffic through a mailing list or through your social media. There's got to be a way for you to know who is visiting your site so that you can interact with them. So there's got to be a point to your website. So if I were to go to a website and the call to action is not clear, right? What do you want me to do? Is this just for me to learn about you? Great. I check out the first page and I leave, right? If your first screen, when I first land on your website, if it doesn't immediately hit me with who you are, what you do, and who you do it for, like if I have to scroll to find that out, that is not a good experience. Most people are going to do the least amount of work possible. So always use the 80-20 rule. If somebody lands on your site, remember that 80% of people will never scroll. Of the 20% who actually scroll, only 20% will actually click. Of that 20% who actually click, only 20% will actually take the next action. So you start to lose people at a very fast rate, the less clear you are. So good presence versus bad presence. Bad presence, I don't know what you do and who you do it for. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know where I'm supposed to click. I don't know what you want me to do. And I forgot why I landed here in the first place. A good presence is, hey, I just went to see that person live to speak. I went to their website and immediately it tells me, hey, by the way, you saw that because that's what you speak to, because that's your message, because you don't speak about a million different things throughout the year, right? You stick to like one topic that you're really, really good at. So you know that when people land on your website, they landed because they heard you talk about that. So like, hey, did you like that? How about this? If you sign up for my newsletter, I'm going to send you more information about that. And now you've created a relationship with this person. And if they're the right client for you, or the right, if you don't have clients, if you're just doing this to send a message, if this is the right person to resonate with your message, they're going to take action. So that's what I would say. Clarity of your message. Know why you're doing this and who you're doing it for, and to start attracting more of those people. Does that make sense?
That's really key, because I have to be honest, as an entrepreneur and speaker, when I started doing all of this, my message was not very clear. I wanted to do like every single thing. Like I had too many ideas of, okay, I should do this, I should do that. So therefore the message, it was not clear at the end of the day.
And I have to say that yours is great because it's Boston Speaks. You are all about speaking. I mean, that's it. I just interviewed someone for the podcast. By the way, podcast is the global phenomenon, obviously. The global phenomenon podcast. I just interviewed someone for the podcast who was talking to me about this clarity. Her name is Karen Donaldson, and she's also in the speaking circuit. And she told me, listen, narrowing down is the hardest thing, because she herself, she teaches people about communication and body language and speaking, but she's also a choreographer, like a dancer. And she's like, at first I wanted to be like all things to all people. I wanted everybody to know everything I did because I'm a multi-talented person. And I realized that it was only through one point, like through the clarity of my message, that I started to really see things take traction. So it's not an easy thing to do, to clarify your message. It can take years for you to clarify your message. So the more you focus on that, the better.
So Ina, how would you suggest other people to clarify the message? Whether if it's the overall brand, maybe it could even be for like a video or presentation or like a weekly meeting. Like how does one actually get more clarification on the idea they want to share?
I love this topic. I've like taught entire workshops on like finding your right message, finding your right business ideas. I love this topic. Here's a quick hack. Who are you speaking to? And I want you to picture them. Like I want you to actually write down who this person is, what they look like, what are they looking for, what are they craving, what are their struggles, and only speak to that person. So when I talk like really fuzzy like this, is hard to picture. So I'm gonna give you like just a concrete example. I want you to imagine your mother. That might be the easiest thing. So sorry. I want you to imagine your mother. Your mom. And I want you to think of what is it that she needs. Okay, what are the things that she's struggling with recently? Is it that, with COVID, she doesn't get to see family very often, right? So I want you to imagine her and delivering a message only to her. So I'm just giving you an example of how specific this can be. I'm not saying that she's necessarily your ideal client or she's necessarily your ideal audience member. You got to come up with that yourself. Who is your ideal audience member? And picture a person, an actual individual in that chair. and remember to only speak to them. So in my case, I speak to entrepreneurs who have been, trying things for the first 1 or 2 years of their business, and they're looking for more clarity, and they're looking for more leads, and they're running out of things to do to actually give value and to get clients, and like they're just starting to wonder, like, what is this all for? So I talk to them and I teach them more about the online marketing world. Today, I taught a session about testing your marketing. So I imagine my best clients sitting in that chair and giving them the information as if they were the only person in the room. So for this, you're going to need to know who you want to speak to. If you say to yourself, well, it's just that I can help a lot more people than just my mom or than just that one client. So why would I narrow it down? Because otherwise you're not going to be able to help many people. Is that effect of, imagine that you were hiring a photographer, right? You're hiring a photographer for your wedding, okay? And this photographer, if you talk to them personally, they'll tell you, oh yeah, I can do headshots and I can do corporate events. I don't just do weddings, right? What if you're looking for a wedding photographer and that photographer has a website where they say, come here for weddings, come here for corporate events, come here for headshots, come here to take pictures of your kids. And then there's another photographer where their website is all about weddings. It's all about, this is the bride studio photo shoot that we do, and this is how we do the best of it. This is how we do the bridesmaids, and this is how we do. Which one, as somebody who cares about their wedding, which one are you going to go for? Which one is going to seem more high-end? Which one is going to seem like they have their act together? One is going to seem like a generalist, and one is going to look like a specialist. So when you try to be a generalist, your message is not going to land because it's going to look like you don't have a message at all. So you need to be as specific as possible with it. We all feel like we could help a ton of people. And I've helped corporate people, and I've helped people who have been in their business for 10 years. I've helped people in all sorts of wide ranges. But my message keeps going back to that entrepreneur between their 1 and 2 years of business who's looking for more clarity. And that's how my message keeps landing. So if you are looking for a quick hack, picture one person and focus on that. And it's not easy. I want to tell you right now that it's not easy because you're going to want to be able to help everybody. But that's really what it takes.
I have to agree with you 100%. It is super not easy. And I think people are always going back and forth until they pick that one person. But what if, what if they said, we have two target audience or 2 members. What would you say? Just pick one,
Okay.
do 2?
Okay. So, because I've been in this situation with clients before, because I had one client who, they were a nonprofit and they were serving the community. So it was very important to them that all of their social media was geared towards helping the community, right? Here, they were like an a video company, like a video recording company. And they wanted to show videos of different community events that they did and talk about their the community events that were happening in their area. And so it was very important to them to seem like they are a nonprofit who's helping the community through these videos. But the people who paid them are other community managers in different towns that need that kind of video support. So they felt really wrong about posting about, hey, community. Oh, and by the way, buy our stuff, which is not even for the community who's following you. So how do you do that? How do you target 2 people at once? That is totally possible when you know where they are. So if you're going to be speaking at, like, if you're my client and you have a community base and you also have a business base, you want to know who you're speaking to and what you want them to do next. They don't have to know about each other, right? You could even have them on the same website. You could have them on separate websites, but they have to feel like you are there for them and for them alone. So if I were to book a speaking engagement for the Small Business Association, I'm going to be talking about online marketing, right? If I book a speaking engagement for something that is a little bit more community-based, like more for charities and things like that, I'm probably not going to try to sell them on online marketing services. I'm probably going to be talking about the impact that businesses can have on the community. So they gotta feel like their message is still for them. So have a when you put your stuff out there, have the base that you have. So for our client, it was the community. So everything was about the community. Where are you going to engage with your other audience? It's got to be someplace else. It's not going to be in the same feed. Have a different Instagram account. Have a different, create a LinkedIn group where you can go and interact with them there. So basically interact with them in two separate places so that they don't feel like icky that the waters are being muddied. So if you have two messages, it's really a single message. You're just serving two different audiences. You just gotta serve them where they are. And without knowing specifics of your particular situation, make sure you put it in the comments so that I can answer more specifically. But that's as general as I can get. It will be very specific to which audiences you want to target.
I think that's a great explanation. So, Ina, how have you personally actually leveraged speaking to help you grow and help your online presence?
I'm going to say that 50% of the clients that I got in 2020 saw me speaking. It was like that. And I'm an online marketer. I'm online all the time. I'm always getting people in through just watching me online through videos, right? Which I consider to be kind of a speaking engagement. But no, back in 2019, I started teaching podcasting classes in Boston, right? Just as a way to meet more people who were entrepreneurial, who were in their first 2 years of business. So you see how that works. I'm teaching podcasting because these people really wanted to do something special. I was teaching an elementary level of podcasting, elementary enough that they haven't made any more strides, any more progress in actually creating a podcast. I'm catching them really early on a really great idea. And these clients were my best clients. They actually left the podcast aside. They're like, okay, maybe podcasting is not my thing right now, but Ina, can you help me set up my website, set up my freebie, have a sales funnel going, teach me about sales? Can you do that for me? I'm like, yes, I can. So personally, I can't wait until the world opens up again so that I can continue to go. I had a spot, like a permanent spot at Staples, the company here in Massachusetts, which is a nationwide chain for office stores. They have a spotlight center in there where you can go and speak and organize your Eventbrite events and meet there. So I would organize these events. And now I do them more virtually, but it's still possible. Everybody who signs up to work with me has seen me on video or has learned from me in other ways.
Yeah, those Staples centers, they did a good job with them. Some of them have like podcast. I'm not sure if you've seen like everything decked out with podcast.
That's right. I actually recorded the internal staff training for using the podcasting studios for Staples. That happened. It was really cool. It was so fun.
I want to ask you, like, how often are you going live and doing videos?
Definitely every single week. Most weeks, multiple times a week. And I'm going to tell you, it's not because I have a calendar where I'm like, well, I should be going live. It's my preferred medium. Like I said, if I'm going to create content, I would much rather go live and give a message, like I said, that I create 2 minutes before I sit down, have a message, have a call to action, and go and deliver it as if I'm just chatting with a friend. It's just so much easier than editing video, than sitting down and writing a bunch of emails, than sitting down and creating another freebie. My preferred way of delivering content is just turning it on, turning it off, and then letting go. It's been done. So multiple times a week.
Good. And yeah, it's easy. Just turning it on, speaking, and hey, since you showed us your sticky notes, what other gems are on there that you want to share with us?
I don't even this is all full of stickiness. Look at doom. So okay, well, I can tell you, just if you're interested about my theories about working with someone to make their website. I can keep it very, very, very short and succinct, because if you are a speaker who are thinking of getting a website done, there's a couple things that you need to be aware of, because what you will hear is a lot of horror stories of people who got their website done and either the webmaster disappeared or they didn't get what they wanted for the price that they thought they were going to get it for, or the project was taking way too long, or you're going to hear all of that stuff. So I actually created a video and you can even go get it. Like you can just get it for free at theglobalphenomenon.com/doom, DOOM, where I explained why your website project is doomed from the start. And this is just from 20 years of experience in web making and doing this for a while. I'm just going to tell you just a little cautionary tale when you hire someone to make your website. And that is that we as developers, we want to please you and we want to make you happy and we want to do everything right and on time and on budget. We really, really do. But here's what happens. When you come to us as somebody who says, yes, I want to create my website. I watched Ina's conversation with Kit and I realized that I need to get a website up and running. So you go to the developer and you say, here are my requirements. This is what I want on the homepage. This is what I want. Okay, go and make it pretty. Go and make it happen. Especially if you are starting out, I'm going to assure you that you are going to be changing your mind. You're going to be changing what is it that you wanted on the homepage. You're going to be taking more pictures. You're going to realize that, wait a minute, hey, Ina, I hope you haven't started working on the about page because I had another idea for that. So your requirements don't stop at the moment that you hand over the requirements. Your requirements continue to fluctuate because your business doesn't stop. You didn't say freeze time after you gave the requirements to your developer. So what happens on the developer side? I'm going to tell you what happens. Two things. If they are an inexperienced developer, they will want to please you and they will not want to raise the price on you, and they don't want to make you feel icky about hiring them because now they have to raise their prices. Because every time that you ping them, every time that you send them an email saying, oh, let's do this differently, it doesn't matter what the change was. The change could have been, hey, change that Y to an L. It could be anything. But just by the fact that your developer had to stop what they're doing, to check their email, to analyze your request, and to give you a response, that is more time added to the project. And they haven't even started doing the work yet. So every request you have is going to add to the list of things that they have to do, and it's going to increase your budget. So the inexperienced developer will not want you to feel icky about it. They will probably eat up the cost, not even charge you more. But guess what? They're either going to burn themselves out trying to get things done on time, which never works because they just got more work, or the deadline is going to have to move. And now you're sitting there thinking to yourself, why is this taking so long? I thought the estimate said that it was this price and this time frame, right? If you're working with an experienced developer, they may have a process for that and tell you, hey, we're going to put all your requests in a parking lot. We'll revisit it later. Let me finish a website first. And then we'll talk about how the budget and the timeline is going to increase based on your changes. And you're still going to be left with, why didn't I just get this for the amount that I wanted, for the time frame that I wanted? So I want you to watch that video because it really explains the whole thing, because this is something that happens every single time. And every time that you talk to someone about how they created their website with a developer, some version of that is going to happen. So me wanting to find solutions, I actually created a solution for it. I'm not going to tell you more about it now. If you're interested, you can just watch that video because it tells you more about it there. But I want you to be aware that creating a website may not be super simple and may not be super trivial. So you want to make sure that you're getting good advice. So go check out the video because it's going to really open your eyes before you dive into getting your website created. Just theglobalphenomenon.com/doom will get you there. So I just wanted to plant that seed in there, especially for people who have never had a website developed before. These are things that you need to know.
The seed has been planted. They're like, oh, I need to find someone good now. So Ina, tell us more about where can people find out more about you, where they get, or any special projects that you're working on now?
Yes, I am really excited about this. So last year, I decided I'm going to take something that has been part of my program that has yielded results in a very unexpected way. unexpected way. I would always send my clients to do market research, and they always came back saying that they got a client instead. And I'm like, how did that work? I wanted you to do market research. I didn't want you to go out and get clients. That's not the stage we're in right now. So last year, like towards the end of 2020, I'm like, well, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's a way for people to get clients that is easy, that is, you don't have to learn everything you need to about being on a sales call, because people already want to work with you even before they get on the call with you. So I developed this bundle that is called the 30-day 30 leads expert closer bundle, and it has a 30-day calendar with actions that you need to take to get strong leads, and it also includes that script, that lead to client interview script that my clients have been using and getting clients almost by accident. It's included in there. Plus I added my lead tracker so you can keep track of your conversions. So it's basically like getting leads and getting clients in a box. It's at 30days30leads.com, and it's only $30. Like, it doesn't break the bank, right? So I'm really excited about that. So this is just for anybody who is listening, who's actually an entrepreneur, and they're like, if I could fix one thing in my business in 2021 is getting stronger leads so that my sales calls are easier, so I can increase my conversion rate and I can have more clients, this is where I would be sending people. This is it, 30days30leads.com. So if you want to follow me, well, that is the best place to get in my circle. And if you want to follow me, I'm at the Global Phenomenon podcast. So make sure to go and subscribe and listen to some inspirational stories and some teaching about online marketing.
That's awesome. So 30 days, 30 leads. That's a great name.
Thank you. I thought so too. Very proud of it.
So make sure you all follow Ina. Go to 30 days, 30 leads. That's the special project that she's working on right now. And of course, follow her podcast, The Global Phenomenon. Ina, the time just flew by today. I'm looking at the time. Like,
oh my God. This is fun. Like, I can
goes by super quick.
3 hours just talking about this.
Well, today is only the beginning of this conversation. That's why if you're watching live or the replay right now, go follow Ina for more great content like this. Before we take it off for today, Ina, any other words of wisdom you want to share with the audience?
Sure. Especially for people who don't have clients, who are not in business for this, who go out and speak because they have a message. You hear me talk a lot about getting clients and all that stuff, like, because I speak to entrepreneurs. But if that's not you, I just want to tell you, just the fact that you're going out there and delivering your message is a huge deal. And you should definitely give yourself pats on the back for it. You should keep going. And I just want to encourage you to think of how you can make an even bigger impact in your audience's life by doing what we're talking about, what Kit and I are talking about, is giving your audience opportunities to get to know you better, to get to know about you better. Make it a point to get recordings of your speaking engagements, put them up on YouTube, put them up on your website. Give the people what they want, give them more. And that is just going to increase your ability to go out and speak some more. It's going to elevate your authority, and people are going to want to talk to you. And I know that if you're a speaker, you also have a book in you. So that's another great way to deliver what you want. And I know that you can do it. So if you're out there speaking, keep it up. Don't give up. Follow the Global Phenomenon. Come and talk to me. I'm the only Ina Coveney on Facebook, so I'm really easy to find. So if you wanted to actually start monetizing your gift, if you wanted to actually start to give people more of you in a way that feels good, that you're getting paid to do this in a way that, feels really good, let me know, and I'm here for you. But you got this.
That means your name is unique if you're the only one on Facebook.
Only Ina Coveney on Facebook. It's great. Somebody tried to create a fake profile. I think it's Ina Coveney, like C-A. But I'm still the only Ina Coveney there.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, Ina, I want to say thank you so much for sharing everything. Again, if you all want to follow Ina, go to 30days30leads.com or follow her podcast, The Global Phenomenon. We're going to take it off for now, but the conversation is just starting. So make sure you follow Ina. Ina, thank you so much for being on here with us. And the audience, thank you for tuning in. Have